load, Allen Pass. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. Come on. Yeah. Where we lock you low, Allen Pass. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock you low. Come on. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Allen Powell Show, coming to you live on a Wednesday night. And listen, the NFL season is coming up, but before that season gets started, the college football season got underway with Georgia Tech and Florida State, and some big games are coming up this weekend. The season is getting officially started. So with that being said, I had to bring in a special guest, a college football guru, and the excitement is real on his end, and he's even got me excited. So without further ado, Mr. Devontae Pickett, thank you for coming in, my brother.
Thank you.
Listen, man, we had some conversations about the college football season, and the way you was talking about it, I haven't heard it talked about like that before. But before we get into the new college football format and what's going on with the season, the season got kicked off with Florida State and Georgia Tech. Upset happened immediately.
Yeah.
And man, if it start off like this, the season is going to be off the chain. Number 10. Florida State gets upset by Georgia Tech. Did you see that coming, and what did you see in the game?
Didn't see it coming, but, when you go back and look at it, they was playing in Ireland. So, they had to fly over there, probably had a little jet lag. But also, Florida State is not the same team as they were last year. They got a new quarterback, DJ Ungavale. And
right.
he'd been to, I think this is his third stop. He started out at Clemson. Then he transferred to Oregon State, and now he's, hit the portal again to be at Florida State. But, they couldn't stop the run at all. Georgia Tech just ran it down their throat pretty much the whole game.
When it comes to these early season games and you see a Florida State get upset at the beginning of the season, is it because they have these teams ranked, but you really don't know what these teams are at the beginning of the season?
Unlike the NFL, you don't have that preseason, or you don't even have a opposing team scrimmage. So the whole winter and summer, you've been banging on each other.
Right.
So you really don't know what you got till you get some, till you go versus somebody. But different from years past, normally you'll have that first game. It'll be a little, a chump game, something to get your feet wet a little bit. But you got some heavy hitters going at it week one, and you got to be ready.
Looking at the college football season, man, like I said before the show, you was excited about games that normal fans or general fans wouldn't get excited about, man. Tell the people what games to look forward to and what sleeper team might people need to look out for during the college football season.
Yeah, so I would say, definitely you got the one tomorrow. You got Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, Colorado. They're going up against North Dakota State. Yeah. That's going to be, I believe Colorado will, take that game tomorrow. But it's I think North Dakota State is going to give them a fight. That's a school with a rich history of football. You got 17 national championships on the FCS level.
Right.
But good to see you like to see Colorado how they look. They got the whole revamp team. They got 40 transfers, so they got a new O-line. You got got a Heisman candidate, Shador, and you got Travis Hunter as well. Yeah, playing wide receiver and on the defense. So just to see what that new O-line look like, and you got Warren Sapp holding down the defense on the D-line. Yeah. So just to see, what they look like, and they always going to be a storyline in Colorado. But again, they got to win games.
Right.
They started off hot, and they only ended the season with 4 wins. They started off with 3-0 and ended the season with 4-8. So
we went
They
through
gotta
that.
win.
We went through that schedule and we talked about them as a team. Another year now with Coach Prime. What are you looking for out of Colorado this year? Because I think he had an interview where he said if you wasn't on a bandwagon when we was 4-8, don't jump on when we make it to the once again he's talking that talk again, and what are you expecting from Colorado this year?
I think he got a lot of bandwagon already, giving them props that I think they haven't really deserved yet. But it's interesting. They moved over to the Big 12 this year. So they still got a semi, tough schedule they got to go through. But they week one, I want to say they got they got North Dakota State tomorrow, but next week they got Nebraska, and that's going to be another test. So we'll see these first two games. It'll show what they can do.
What happened to them last year? Because we seen them get off to a pretty hot start. They beat a ranked team. I think it was TCU. Started off pretty strong and then just kind of faded away. And we knew that they didn't have the elite talent, starting out. But was it one of the cases just like we saw Florida State get upset by Georgia Tech? Was it a case of we really don't know what's going on yet, and the real Colorado was going to show up eventually?
Yeah, I think it was the real Colorado was going to show up eventually. Just from the standpoint, I think the whole time everybody was saying that this team didn't have the depth to go up. The football season is a long season, so you can surprise somebody. But again, even they got the 4 wins, they should have had 5. And then if they would have got that 5th win versus Stanford, they probably could have fought their way for a 6th win to get them to a bowl game. It was possible because they did have 2 close. They had a close. It started to got a little. The game was getting away from them versus USC, and they kind of made it close towards the end. So if they could have snuck one of those games and got them to a bowl game. But the team was a whole new team, and you try to bring that cohesion together. It don't work overnight. So and they weaknesses was definitely exposed. They couldn't run the ball. They O-line. Shador was the most sacked quarterback all season last year. So, but this year again, those same question marks are still there. We just got to see if it's been better. Because again, it's a whole new O-line. You got a whole new, D-line, and you got a few people that's still there. But for the most part, it's an overhaul.
What kind of jump are you expecting from them this year? How many wins were you giving them?
Let's see. Let's go pull it up real quick. Let's go look up their schedule real quick.
There you go, give it to them right now. Because I'm thinking he had to recruit some better players this year, so he's expecting to be better himself. I'm pretty sure of that.
100%. I give him tomorrow. I think that Nebraska game, that's going to be a tough one for him. I'm gonna give him Colorado State, so they're going to start off with 2.
And that Colorado State last year wasn't an easy game.
That wasn't. That was a very entertaining. I stayed up for that one. That was going to almost 1 a.m. on our side of town. Midnight, I think it was. So let me see. I'm counting they wins real quick. See if they can get to a bowl game. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then we definitely going to talk about the bowl games in the format now because it has definitely changed and it's a big shakeup.
I'll give them 6 wins. Just 6.
So what? 4 last year, 6 this year.
Yep.
And then
let's get you a bowl game. So I think that'll be a successful year for them. Honestly, as much publicity and hype they get, I don't think that'd be worthy. But 6 games it's an improvement.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You talking about 6 games to get them to a bowl game, and this is not going to be a long show. We just wanted to preview the college football season, and the big week that's coming up. But I do want to talk about the new playoff format because that was a big deal that we talked about, and more teams. Like it usually just 4 teams, and everybody can pretty much predict what the 4 teams is going to be because of the Power 5 situation and all of that. But now it's moved to 12 teams, and this is just a what you call it Ooh, an example, just an
Yeah,
example. So
yeah.
disregard the teams, but we will have 4 teams that get buys, and then 8 teams that play in the first round. And
Yeah.
it's 12 teams this year, so that means there's more potential for a Cinderella team. And I say one thing that's made college basketball so successful with the March Madness is everybody loves a Cinderella team. You being the college football savant and deep into college football, what do you think about the new college football format? Do you like it? You don't like it?
I like it. You know, more football. I'm always going to be happy to prolong, stretch the season out further.
Yeah,
But I think it's still going to be those people that's going to be upset when their team get left out.
right,
And I think the biggest question mark people will need to understand is that first 4 teams that goes to conference champions. So it's
right,
possible, for instance, like a Utah, they may be ranked 12th, but get that 4th spot and get that automatic bye for that
right.
first round. So you just got to be mindful of that, but it also opens up, for instance, like a Florida State. Granted, they lost this past week, they still have a chance.
Right.
They might have to run the table based off of their schedule, who they playing, but it gives the possibility of having a 2-loss or a 3-loss team still being able to fight for a championship.
Does it, in your opinion, because they're going to more teams now, and now, like you say, with Florida State losing, they still have a chance where usually you lose one game or 1 or 2 games, you definitely out of the
Now,
playoff picture. Does it cheapen the regular season, in your opinion? Because in college football, the regular season was super important all the time.
no, just because the way with the conference realignment, you can't really duck nobody.
Mm,
You got, for instance, like in the Big Ten, you got Oregon, who is going to be a contender, I believe, for the national championship this year. Between them and Ohio State, they got the best, I would say, top to bottom rosters. But yeah, you got USC, Oregon, UCLA going to the Big Ten. For like the SEC, you have Oklahoma, and you got Texas this year, or Texas was last year. But you got them going to the SEC. So everybody gonna have to play everybody eventually.
With these conferences now, you talk about the Big Ten. Like how many teams is actually in the Big Ten now? Like, can you actually call it the Big Ten if it's over
It's
10
not.
teams?
It's way more.
Man.
They said they was gonna keep it. They was gonna keep it. The name the Big Ten, but you definitely. I want to say, what is it? 13, 14?
Oh man, that don't even make
Exactly.
sense. Like, what are we doing here, man? It's not the Big Ten anymore. Like, it
Yeah,
changes to something else.
and that schedule is going to be crazy because you got most. Big Ten was known for like Midwest, and you had now you got people coming from LA coming all the way out this way for games. Oh, I forgot Washington too. You got Washington in the Big Ten now.
Right.
So we will see, because you got 12 teams, but you don't between you got granted the big conferences is pretty much mainly the SEC and the Big Ten. And what you might see, but you don't want to see happen is the 12 slots pretty much go to those 2 conferences.
Going back to the college football format, you imagine that this format will give smaller schools the chance to prove themselves and get into the playoffs. With the new realignment, though, like a lot of the small schools are joining some of the conferences. So is it any like small schools still going to be out there that can make a case for themselves to get into the college football players with the realignment?
Yeah, you have like a school like Liberty that can get in there. But again, once they get in, what really can they do? We'll see. But a school like Liberty, they can possibly get in there.
Yeah, Miles Sauce checking in on YouTube says bottom line Georgia winning it again. And
they are the favorites. But we'll see, because again, I'm a Roll Tide. That's who I rock with. We the only team to beat Georgia. We seem like we could be the only team to beat Georgia. We the only one that beat them in 2 years. So we'll see. And they coming to Tuscaloosa this year. They coming to see us. So we'll see. And we get to see each other in the regular season, not for the SEC championship or Natty. We get to see each other in the regular season.
What with the weekend coming up this weekend, what games are you looking forward to the most? Because you talked about a few games, but what games this week coming up are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, so we already talked about North Dakota State, Colorado, just to be entertainment. You know, Coach Prime is box office TV. You got to watch to see what they do. But the big one I'm going to say is Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Based off of Notre Dame's schedule, if they can win that game, I think they pretty much guaranteeing themselves into that playoff. Based off of the rest of their schedule, they do got, you know, big game versus, you know, Louisville, who they lost to last year. I believe Florida State is going to be dropping, but they got Florida State on their schedule, and they got a USC who, you know, depends on how they play. By the time they get to that last game, you know, it could be a big game. You know, that's going to be it's a segue to my next one. You know, Alabama. It's not a big game. We play in Western Kentucky, but it's to see, you know, what Alabama look like without Nick Saban. We got Kalen DeBoer. He has been our coach. I think he's been a winner everywhere he went. And anybody that he went up against, if you talk about at Washington, this is the coach that was at Washington who was in the national championship last year. So he's not a nobody. He know how to put a team together. He had a Heisman Heisman finalist quarterback. He had a top 10 Roma Duze, who for the Bears now. So, you know, so this is a proven coach, and we you know, like to see what Alabama look like under his leadership.
I would say that's definitely a big storyline going in as well. The Nick Saban effect. What is Alabama? We haven't seen Alabama without Nick Saban for a long time.
17 years.
17 years. That's a big deal. But go ahead, finish with your
you got, you know what, Miles Sauce, I know he probably gonna be watching Georgia versus Clemson. So that's two ranked teams. You know, you got Georgia at 1, Clemson being slotted at 14 right now. So we'll see. Yeah, that's a good one. Then you got LSU versus USC.
Yes.
So we're gonna see, you know, with Lincoln Riley, he the head coach of USC, and you know, he started a new era without Caleb Williams as his quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's been, you know, I would say rumored or discussion about if he has another bad season this year, that, you know, USC might, you know, kick him to the curve and try to bring in Coach Prime out of Colorado.
So. The rumors getting started already of Coach Prime moving on already. That's another subject for another day. But I would say, what's the problem with Lincoln Riley? Why can't he get his defense right? Because throughout his years, even when he was, I think with
Oklahoma, yep,
the offense has always been off the charts great, but you can't find a defensive guy to put on your. It's plenty of people out there. You can't find a defensive guy to fix the defense.
Yeah, I think more so was about recruiting. You know, he's gonna have to get out there on the recruiter chair and get a defensive minded coach to help him out. You know, and he has always been known as an offensive guy. The same way, like in the NBA, when you talk about Mike D'Antoni, you know, they run a gun offense and don't even care about the defense. So it's all about what you know focusing on.
We got Cedric Chris checking in on Facebook, said, give us some picks for tomorrow. He's probably one of those gamblers on the gambling sites looking for some. I
could just say who I lean into winning. I ain't doing no spreads.
Yeah.
That ain't me.
Just looking for the what you call it, not the over or under, but just the money line, just who the overall pick. Just he probably looking just for some picks for tomorrow. So going down the slate of I would say just the big games. Who you got going tomorrow?
I'm gonna say for tomorrow who I got written down right for week 1. I'm gonna take Colorado in a tight one.
Okay.
To pull out. I don't think they're gonna walk over North Dakota State. I'll be surprised if they do, but I think they'll pull away. You know, Alabama going pretty much take over, and you know, I would say they'll probably win by 30 versus Western Kentucky. Miami versus Florida, I didn't even talk about that one. That should be that's gonna be a good one. But I'm gonna take Miami. I think Bill Napier, coach of Florida, probably be gone after this year. He might have a huge buyout waiting for him. Notre Dame versus Texas A&M. That's gonna be a tough one, but I'm gonna I'm gonna take Notre Dame. Georgia Clemson out. That's an easy one. I'm gonna take Georgia. And LSU versus USC. I'm gonna take LSU. So those
Okay.
are the top ones for tomorrow.
And just talking about Clemson real quick, I mean, because it was a time where Dabo Swinney can do no wrong. Has his time passed because he's slipping? He's not in the top 5 anymore. Is he's sliding by? What's going on with Dabo and Clemson?
I don't think so though, because they always finish. Like he might have a bad few games, or you think he over the hill, or he might be time to split ways with him. But they always seem to be a little consistent and bounce back. Was that last year? I believe. They was losing some games and they finished strong. They end up they beat up on Notre Dame, and finished out pretty solid. So they pretty consistent. But again, he gonna have to again pretty much change his method of he gonna have to hop in that portal and play that game. I know at one point in time it was conversation that he didn't like to do that, but this the new age, and you're gonna have to get in that portal and find some players, especially with the NIL.
Yeah. Let's talk about the NIL for a second, man, because that's changed the ball game. And I would say it changed a lot for your team, Alabama. They can't. That's one of the pet peeves that I had with Alabama. I felt like they always they just can't get the best players anymore. The NIL has changed the game. What do you think about the NIL and has affected the NCAA?
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like you got just one story this year was one of the after Nick Saban had retired, a player had transferred to Iowa, our offensive lineman. Transferred to Iowa. It's word that Iowa gave him $100,000. And right when the spring portal opened back up, he transferred back to Alabama. And he pretty much got the lump sum of Iowa's NIL share. And it's like, it's not nothing that he had to pay back,
Wow.
So yeah, they gonna have to streamline a little bit, put some little rules in place, because it's like the Wild Wild West. And pretty much, it's pay to play. And granted, it's been going on for years, but now it's just like it's like wildfire right now.
Yeah. Is that the reason? I think this is one of the reasons Nick Saban got out, but I'm asking you as a Roll Tide fan, is this one of the reasons Nick Saban got out, or was just the old age and I'm done?
I would say definitely that's probably that was the number one reason, but also old age too. The man's 72. Yeah. It would have been nice to he probably preferred to ride out on winning. Had that tough game to Michigan, but yeah, definitely that was a reason for sure.
Before we get up out of here, I do want to get predictions with the new college football format. Do you have a pick for the national championship game and a national champion?
Man, I'm gonna have to roll. My brother, he Ohio State fan. I don't know how, but I'm gonna have to roll with Ohio State.
Ohio State as national championship. It's a lot of people, a lot of fans of this show that roll Ohio State that's gonna love to hear that as well. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to roll with Ohio State. I think they spent a lot of money this year for NIL, and they got a solid roster. They got a couple transfers as well in the portal. So I think they got a solid roster. But again, he gonna have to prove it. They always say they got good teams, but he gonna have to beat Michigan. Yeah, he gonna have to prove it.
With the NIL, we know like baseball, basketball, salary caps, and all of that stuff. Like, what is it? A salary cap with this NIL?
No. It's more so collectives. So it's like you get your collective that represents your school, and you can get people to donate to it. You can sell T-shirts, whatever, and you get that money in that pot. That's the money you raise and to go out and give people that you can give. Alabama collective, they call it Bama, and they got like you get exclusive if you contribute to it's like literally it's like $25 a month like subscription, and you get like exclusive access to stuff or whatever they do as a collective. And after Nick Saban retired, because with Nick Saban is the GOAT, you really didn't have to get NIL money because people was coming to Alabama for Nick Saban. Right. So you don't have that statue there anymore. You're gonna have to get in the game, play everybody else's game. And they had sent out like a notification talking about stop giving your tithes an offering and give it to the collective because we got to get these players.
That's wild. That is wild.
So they also like Alabama is different because they don't have no professional sports team. So it's like either you with Alabama or you with Auburn. You're gonna have to pick and choose which one.
Wow, that's gonna be interesting to see. And we've seen money talks now. So like Alabama's not getting the top player all the time. It's getting spread out.
Yeah, and people gonna go with the money go. And granted, sometimes also on the other side of that, you're gonna see some negatives with that. Some people are gonna go with the money, but that might not be the best for them scheme wise, or this is gonna be the best coach that got your best interest. So you're gonna see the other side of it as well too. You're gonna hit up the good stories, but you're gonna hit the negatives.
But shouldn't that also bring up the smaller schools who might be able to get some of the top talent now because they might have the most money to give, and so that's going to bring more publicity or more attention to the schools like that?
Nah, I don't think so because the pot not going to be big enough. You talking about like Texas and Texas A&M? That's oil money. That's different. Yeah. Versus, again, but also the opportunity is going to be there for instance, like a North Dakota State, where I can go there. I may get playing time right away, and I can build over a course of 3 to 4 years in my development. So it's about what you pick and choose because sometimes people, you're going to go to Alabama and you might have 3 dudes ahead of you, and you might not play. But people like that's when they jump into the portal and then they go to somewhere else.
I mean, it seemed like it's a sweet deal for the players. Like, yo, I'm gonna come get this bag, and then if stuff don't go right, just go in the transfer.
I'm out. There's no commitment. Yeah, there's no commitment, and that's what the part. And again, that's what I would say as a Nick Saban. I don't blame him for retiring. You talk about some of these kids is being recruited like in 7th, 8th grade. You spending like time and your money. You flying out these places, and recruiting, talking to mama, grandma, and everybody for him to get on your campus for 1 season and be gone.
Mouse also, let's start a pot for the next show. What's Prime signature coaching techniques? I'll wait. So I guess he's saying,
I ain't gonna never shoot no bell for Coach Prime. To me personally, I didn't think that he had some coaching lapses even when he was at Jackson State. He couldn't win a Celebration Bowl 2 years in a row when he had the best team. And it's been times where his coaching has been called into play about just discipline, scheme wise, calling certain timeouts when they need to,
Yeah. But what about him maybe just being a leader of men? Because I look at in a pro level, I look at Mike Tomlin. I don't know this for sure, but I don't look at him as an X's and O's guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I look at him as just being a leader of men, being able to lead a team. And so I think when it comes to Deion, it's like if you surround yourself with great minds on a defensive, offensive end, then long as you leading the team, being a leader of a leader of men, leader of a team, then I think you can pass as a good coach.
That's fine. That's fine when you're winning. Mike Tomlin, he been over 500 for how many years?
Yeah,
you got to win. You know what I'm saying? We didn't just hire you to give speeches to kids. For real, like at the end of the day, yes, we want the kids to be raised men, but they brought you there to win. If you ain't winning, you're gonna be out of there.
Right. So
he talk a good game, but again, at the end of the day, you got to win.
That is facts. That is facts. You got Victor Legron checking in, one of the regulars on the show, checking in on Facebook. I guess, man, that's pretty much it for this show, man. I just wanted to preview the season, bring you on to tell us what's going on, college football wise, the college football format. And so during the college football season, we definitely want to bring you back, man. Once again, fact. So I think we all agree as far as Deion X's and O's that he's probably not the X's and O's guy, but we all know he got charisma and it can talk the talk. He probably went into a position anyway. So we'll see how it goes.
I was listening to what was it? Get Up this morning on ESPN. They already talking about Shador may be the quarterback of Dallas. So we'll see. We'll see.
And we talked about that. Hey, how he also said in the interview that he's going to try to maneuver Shador to a specific team, that he's not going to be playing.
That would definitely happen. That's definitely going to happen. You already know that's definitely going to happen. But again, he got to show himself this year too.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, we used great last year, but you can't lay an egg this year either. So
he definitely got to improve, and eyes are definitely going to be watching. But
for sure.
Thank you, brother, for coming on, man, giving us some knowledge for the college football season. And we'll definitely bring you back as the season progresses, and especially during the college football playoff season is going to be on and popping. So appreciate you once again, my brother.
Take care, man.
We'll see y'all next week. We out.
We lock and load, Allen Pants. It's the Allen Pants Show.